up.
Red means down. Now I know in China it'd probably be the opposite.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me if it's a bubble. I don't think it's a bubble.
You know, in Chinese market, we call individual 散户. They get panic all the time.
When it wasn't easy anymore, then they would get frustrated and 2 or 3 days later they might sell it. Chinese market was really developing, and the key is how much productivity. Read as much as you can. And before you take big commitments in the market, make sure you know what the company does.
采访身边年薪或身价超100万或1000万的朋友之华尔街篇。今天要采访的这位朋友，他的办公室就在纽交所。
So nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Could you please introduce yourself a little bit?
My name is Tim Anderson. I am a broker on the floor of the exchange. I do business with institutional firms and with hedge funds and money managers.
Wow.
We're going to go in and have a little tour of the exchange and with some explanation as to what's going on inside the building.
I can't wait. 你别说，有点紧张了。哇，我在纽交所。
And then the brokers, like I work waiting here.
Okay, this is your office. Ooh.
It's relatively close quarters. That board up there and this board here, these boards are kind of designed so that if you're a broker and you're walking around the floor with a number of orders checking on them, you can always glance up to your right or your left and see one of these boards and see what the market has done in the last.
Okay.
See, the market's having a very good day today. All those charts are green. Green means up. Red means down. Now I know in China it'd probably be the opposite.
Yeah, in China it's quite opposite.
Green, that's money.
Oh,
Green money.
dollar.
That means it's up on the day.
哎，这个地方就是敲钟的地方。This is the place for IPO.
Yes. And there'll be a lot of people down here inside these ropes clapping, applauding.
朋友们，这是贝尔！天哪，贝尔来敲钟了。
OK，我们又要解锁秘密基地了啊。So we're going to the balcony. Wow.
You can get a really good view. We're on the balcony of the exchange right now.
Wow. So how many years have you been working here?
I've been working here about 12, but I've been in the business for over 40 years.
Okay.
Firms like Salomon Brothers and Citigroup and NatWest Markets.
What's the biggest lesson you have learned from Wall Street?
You have to treat like every day as a new day. You can have a bad day, and the next day you just have to come to work with the idea that today's a new day, even though the day before might have been a little on the ugly side.
A lot of people trying to make a lot of money here.
Sure.
But sometimes the truth is on the opposite. Do you have any suggestion to those people who want to make a lot of money?
You have to have a long-term perspective. I think that people think they're going to make a lot of money in a couple of months that usually doesn't work because they will force things and press things too hard, and then 1 or 2 or 3 down days can really throw monkey wrench, so to speak, into that, just mess up your prospect for the rest of the year. But you need to have a long-term perspective. For instance, when I started in the business, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was below 1,000. Now it's at 50,000.
Wow.
So that's over a 50-fold increase in price.
That's crazy. That's mean long-term, right?
That's long-term, yeah.
You know, in Chinese market, we call individual 散户. They get panic all the time. They trust long-term, but they don't act like they trust long-term. Why is that?
I think that's because Chinese market was really developing. The market shot up very strongly, and a lot of people made a lot of money very easily. And when it wasn't easy anymore, then they would get frustrated, and if they bought a stock, then 2 or 3 days later they might sell it because it wasn't going up in 2 or 3 days like it had during that period of euphoria.
In your opinion, what's the future? What do you think of AI? People
Well,
talk about it all the time.
A lot of people ask me if it's a bubble. I don't think it's a bubble. I think that certain stocks in that sector or connected to it get overvalued from time to time. You do have some higher levels of volatility. A lot of people like to talk about time frames in terms of a baseball game. I think it's maybe like the 3rd inning still for AI. All these companies raising tremendous amounts of money right now, they're doing that to invest that money. They're not doing it to just put it in their bank account. Just NVIDIA just announced earlier today that they're selling $20 billion in bonds to give themselves some additional operating capital. CapEx spending really is what fuels investment and productivity and fuels the economic expansion. There's just too much money being raised. The investors are still not hesitating to buy the company's bonds or buy their company's stocks that are coming public. Now we had a little bit of a market sold off a little bit for a week and a half because of people needed to make room for the SpaceX IPO. There's a couple other big IPOs coming down in the next few months. There's Anthropic is a very, very well-known, highly regarded AI company.
Yeah.
And OpenAI is
OpenAI.
also. They're both going to go public. And they're both going to be very, very, very large deals. And sometimes when you have a very active IPO market, that takes some money away from the secondary market. Big institutional investors have to sell a little bit of some of the stocks that they've had to make room so that they can buy these stocks that are just coming public.
So when people, lose money, they get panic. But the funny fact is the market in the US is getting better and better, but people also get panic. They think the US economy is a bubble itself. What do you think?
I remember the internet bubble very well. Things got crazy. There were companies going public that didn't have any sales, didn't have any revenue, and they never got really on track. And there were companies that were going public at $60 that would open at 90 and trade up to 200 the first day of trading. So that's not good. That's too much mania. But I do not see that right now with the AI-driven companies. A lot of these companies have tons of cash and very well positioned, even if you had a little bit of a slowdown for 6 months or so. Now, the big test is going to be all this investment has to eventually show returns. And the key is how much productivity, how much additional productivity.
Let's talk about Donald Trump. Okay? People say Trump can change the market by a few tweets.
I think the market is getting used to it a little bit. The market's always going to say, well, is he posturing this? Is he saying this for a certain group?
Yeah.
Is he trying to push Iran to doing this? Because he's the president of the United States, all of his investments personally have to be in a blind trust.
Okay.
Which means that he does not have any interaction with the person who's managing that money.
Of course.
Otherwise, that would just be a whole Pandora's box.
The last question. Do you have any suggestions for those young generation who want to be rich?
Read as much as you can. And before you take big commitments in the market, make sure you know what the company does and what the company's competitors are and what the risk factors are behind that company's future.
Don't daydream.
I'm not
Be a
saying
gamble.
don't date. Look, I know some very, very successful day traders, but I say it's 1 out of 50 people. 1 out of 50 people that tries day trading is going to be successful at it because it requires a very, very, very unique and special skill set.
Thank you so much, sir. It's very helpful.
So nice meeting you.